subtly preach slogans like freedom, equality, harmony, and benevolence, yet remain indifferent or even complicit in the face of brutal atrocities. Don't you feel a shred of shame? How ironic. How ironic. What's even more ironic is that people in many countries actually take their so-called slogans at face value. They believe the moon is rounder abroad. The air is sweeter. It must be said that this long-range cultivation technology is something many countries will never achieve in their lifetime. Do you think Yisili will intercept it? I believe they definitely will. Otherwise, it would be slapping Yisili in the face. How could they show their face afterward? I agree they will, though it'll likely be a symbolic interception, no real action. What are you thinking? Yisili just issued a warning statement. The Kingdom of Yemen clearly did this on purpose. They absolutely must intercept it. Just wait and see. The debate over whether Yisili will intercept. It has sparked endless debate. Overall, opinions are divided. But most people believe Yisili will only conduct a symbolic interception. Only a minority of hardliners believe Yisili will definitely intercept, and with forceful measures. For instance, violent interception methods like shooting down Yemen's transport aircraft. This news has intensified the public pressure on Yisili. Should we intercept? At the meeting, Defense Minister McKenlin looked around the room. Someone immediately stood up to voice their opinion. Intercept them. We must intercept them. This is a blatant slap in the face to Yisili. Moreover, if Yemen continues to support Gaza and strengthens their resistance, it will significantly delay our progress in capturing Gaza. Yisili's current strategy is to, ignoring all public opinion, capture Gaza as quickly as possible. What will condemnation matter then? They will have achieved tangible military gains. And how many people will remember what happened online? In a few years, when all this is forgotten, who would remember today's Gaza? What did Yisili ever do? History. But it's written by the victors. And Yisili has ample media resources at his disposal. Clearing his name afterward would be all too easy. But the moment this proposal surfaced, it immediately faced opposition from certain quarters. No, we absolutely cannot intercept it. The only way to stop it would be to shoot down the Yemen Kingdom's transport plane, but that would be tantamount to declaring war on them. Don't forget they possess nuclear weapons. If it were any other country, he wouldn't be so hesitant. But this is the Kingdom of Yemen. They might just nuke us. Yisili is no bigger than the palm of your hand. One mushroom bomb landing there. It would be utterly destroyed. All those years of Zhongdong's strategic planning ruined in an instant, all for nothing. They dared not gamble, they couldn't bear the consequences. But the problem followed immediately. Not intercepting it. Wouldn't that be openly admitting Yisili fears the Yemen Kingdom? Back down? That would be a loss of face. Strategically speaking, if Yemen discovers they dare not intercept, they will continue to supply Gaza indefinitely. This would significantly delay their invasion progress. This matter was debated for hours without any clear resolution. Finally, a report came in. It stated that the Yemen Kingdom's transport aircraft had successfully reached Gaza and delivered supplies. Only then did the discussion conclude. Everyone felt awkward. So awkward it made their scalps tingle. They'd been debating so passionately, yet the operation had already been completed elsewhere. How could they have missed it? Lu Wen, looking thoroughly embarrassed, announced the meeting was adjourned. Gaza. The baptism of war had left over 2 million Gazans displaced. They now dwell in ruins, their lives filled with despair. Among them were the elderly, children, and women. The entire city seemed shrouded in gloom. Lifeless and devoid of vitality. But then, someone gasped in astonishment as countless airdrops rained down from the sky like a torrential downpour. Chapter 171, The Eternal God of the Yemen Kingdom. Some people rubbed their eyes in disbelief, thinking they were hallucinating. But when they opened their eyes again, they realized this was no dream. It was real. Instantly, countless people were overcome with joy. Those who had been lying in the ruins, starving and near death for days due to the scarcity of supplies, somehow found the strength from somewhere. They forced themselves to stand. They rushed toward the spot where the supplies had been dropped. Their eyes, clouded by war, suddenly brightened, filled with radiance. For they had seen hope. Soon, a large crowd gathered at the drop site, awaiting the arrival of the airborne supplies. Minutes later, supplies began to fall one after another. The people of Gashan eagerly rushed to open them, eager to see what was inside. Some remained wary, fearing it might be a plot by Yisili, planting bombs inside. Fortunately, after they had opened all the supplies, what appeared before them were not bombs, but an abundance of daily necessities. In terms of food, they found bread, flour, rice, instant noodles, and many other ready-to-eat items. It wasn't exactly delicious. But for the starving people of Gaza, these were nothing short of heavenly delicacies. When you're starving to death, who cares about luxuries? Even a single piece of bread was incredibly precious here. There were also various brands of purified water. After Israel imposed the blockade on Gaza, it destroyed the only remaining freshwater treatment plant here. This has made fresh water in Gaza exceedingly precious. Great, is that the Yemen flag? At that very moment, someone discovered a Yemen flag among the supplies. This immediately caught the attention of countless people. First, their hearts warmed. Then, a profound sense of gratitude and appreciation welled up in their hearts toward the Kingdom of Yemen. These supplies arrived at just the right moment. Who knows how many lives they might save among the people of Gashan? People began distributing the supplies in an orderly manner. women, children, and the elderly. They were given priority to receive supplies, and additional portions were allocated based on actual needs. As for the majority of men, though equally anxious, they restrained their impulses. Some even took positions to manage the situation and maintain order at the scene. On the periphery of the crowd, a photographer raised his camera, capturing this heartwarming scene. This individual is a reporter for the International News Agency. The International News Agency, not affiliated with any single nation, but under the United Nations. Therefore, in terms of stance, the International News Agency is a neutral media outlet. It does not favor any particular country. This has earned the International News Agency a solid global reputation and a large following. The Gaza issue is now the global focus. Bob is confident this video will soon become an international sensation. Back in his studio, Bob immediately began editing the footage, then wrote the full context of the incident above it. As a neutral journalist, Bob didn't need to please anyone, so he could state the facts as truthfully as possible. And as a compassionate human being, Bob possessed the conscience he should have. After arriving in Gaza himself, seeing the ruins and devastation here, he had long been dissatisfied with Yisrael's atrocities. He had assumed this situation would inevitably end in tragedy. After all, no nation in the world could sanction Yisrael or the Lighthouse Nation. But who could have foreseen that today? As the transport planes of the Kingdom of Yemen landed in Gaza and dropped so much aid, Bob seemed to see hope of the people of Gaza. This is what true human harmony should look like. Not like the scum of Yisrael, a scourge to the entire world. Striving for perfection, the video editing took over 2 hours. Fortunately, seeing the meticulously edited video he'd created, Bob wiped the sweat from his brow. It all felt worth it. He switched tabs and swiftly uploaded the edited video online. Upload successful. After finishing these steps, Bob didn't leave. His eyes remained glued to the screen. Every few seconds, he clicked the refresh button. For the first few times, the view count remained stuck at 0, and Bob showed little reaction. Video uploads have a brief delay. After about 10 seconds, Bob clicked refresh once more. The video views suddenly skyrocketed from 0 to tens of thousands. Only then did Bob show a look of relief. The International News Agency had a global reach, with its follower count ranking among the top 20 media accounts worldwide. It already had terrifyingly high traffic. Bob had also tagged the video with Gaza and the Kingdom of Yemen, making it easier for the video to gain even more traffic. 1 minute later, the video surpassed 200,000 views, garnered 120,000 likes, and received over 80,000 comments. 10 minutes later, views hit 1.5 million, likes reached 970,000, and comments surged past 500,000. Bob was frozen in front of the screen. While the International News Agency had high traffic and a large fan base, it was still astonishing for a video to achieve such staggering numbers within 10 minutes. This seemed to indirectly indicate that people worldwide were deeply concerned about Gaza's situation. Bob felt deeply gratified. He scrolled through the comments section and felt even more reassured. Goodness gracious, Yemen Kingdom is nothing short of a savior. You could practically feel the excitement of the people of Gaza upon seeing the airdrop supplies through the screen. Yemen Kingdom, forever the gods. Are there really that many refugees? So many are barely clothed. Yisrael, you need to see this. What exactly have you done in Gaza? It's heartbreaking, so many emaciated, especially the elderly and children. I can't imagine how they survive in such conditions. ISIS must be held accountable for all their actions. The backdrop is heartbreaking. Their once beautiful homeland, destroyed like this. Are all Israelis demons? The Kingdom of Yemen is truly a beacon of light in this dark world. This time, they've indirectly saved countless lives. This is what people should truly admire. Yemen Kingdom, forever the god. Fall in line. The Kingdom of Yemen is forever the god. YYDS. The comments section is flooded with YYDS dominating every corner, clearly showing the world's excitement upon seeing the video. While people fiercely condemn Yisrael, they're reminded once more of the greatness of the Yemen Kingdom. On this planet where nations scheme against each other and stop at nothing for profit, the Kingdom of Yemen resolutely ignored Yisrael, risking war with the world's dominant superpower, the Lighthouse Nation, to support Gaza. Truly a refreshing breeze in this filthy world. The deeply moving comments in the discussion board brought tears to Bob's eyes. Driven by pure passion to become a war correspondent. For years, he exposed the hidden crimes committed by certain individuals, allowing people to witness the brutality of war firsthand. He has always been on the front lines. Chapter 172, Status and Influence. During this time, he faced death countless times, hovering on the brink of the grave time and again. He shed blood and sweat. Most ordinary people would have given up long ago. But Bob, fueled by unwavering resolve, has persevered to this day. After seeing the comments section, he became even more convinced that what he was doing was right. Zhangye's aid this time was motivated by humanitarianism. But he hadn't anticipated. Before he could even arrange for global media coverage, someone beat him to it. And the effect was surprisingly good. Who released it no longer mattered. The objective had been achieved. As the news gained traction, when Zhang Yi checked his reputation points again, he discovered his reputation points had already surpassed 200,000. This was a significant gain, enough to consider developing something substantial next. Meanwhile, on Yisrael's side, upon seeing Bob's video, the entire leadership including Luwin nearly fainted from rage. Their international reputation had taken another nosedive. Meanwhile, the Yaman kingdom gained massive attention and widespread support. This script. They couldn't even count how many times they'd seen it play out recently. How did the Yaman king become such a marketing genius? Is he planning to turn the kingdom of Yaman into a celebrity nation? Yet the real headache for Yisili was yet to come. Earlier, many online discussions speculated whether Yisili would intercept supplies destined for Yemen. At the time, many believed that Yisili's unusually firm stance this time, and directly warning other nations, and would certainly prevent the kingdom of Yemen's supplies from reaching their destination. But as it turned out, the majority were wrong. The supplies sent by the kingdom of Yemen not only reached Gaza, but were delivered openly and transparently. Post-delivery footage was even uploaded online. Combined with Yisili's declaration that any nation providing aid to Gaza would be considered an adversary and in severe cases, a declaration of war. This was a brutal slap in the face for Israel. Online, a flood of mocking voices began to surface, targeting Yisili. Is this really Yisili? Nothing special. I thought Yisili was so formidable, but it turns out they only dare bully defenseless Gaza. Exactly. Why don't they dare attack the Yaman kingdom? Are they scared? Or worried they can't win? Ha! Hilarious. A bully who picks on the weak Yisili should vanish from this world sooner rather than later. It'd be a blessing for everyone. Support. 1. According to Yisili's claims, the Yemen kingdom has declared war on them. I wonder if Yisili dares to accept this challenge. Don't make me look down on you. President Lu Wen, please stop watching. Stop watching. Lu Wen is on his phone, reading these comments. Other high-ranking officials noticed Lu Wen's face had turned as dark as liver from anger. If this keeps up, I fear he might have a sudden heart attack. Quick, bring the blood pressure medication. After Lu Wen sat down, McKinley had someone bring the medication and administered it to him. After taking it, Lu Wen took a while to recover before his condition gradually improved. McKinley looked utterly helpless. President Lu Wen, don't let it get to you. We should stick to our original plan and seize control of Gashan as soon as possible. In a few years, no one will remember this incident. He was confident. The ultimate victor would undoubtedly be their Yisili faction, not any other nation. Lu Wen waved his hand, parting his pale lips. I know. All right, you all go back to work. I need to rest. After everyone left, Lu Wen returned to his private quarters, utterly defeated, seeking rest. Yet sleep eluded him. Every time he closed his eyes, all he saw were the overwhelmingly negative reports about Isil, or the relentless defeats his nation had suffered since the founding of the Self-Strike 8. The once invincible Yisili. How could this day ever come? After all, in the previous Zhengdong wars, Yisili had always secured victory with overwhelming superiority. Therefore, in Lu Wen's view, they were invincible in Zhengdong. An unprecedented sense of defeat weighed heavily on Lu Wen's spirit, leaving him increasingly haggard. Throughout Yisili, the nation seemed to be enveloped in an eerie atmosphere due to the emergence of the Yaman kingdom. The Yemen kingdom. Jiang Yi knew that once this news spread, Yisili would certainly continue its alliance with the Lighthouse Nation and the Western powers to hunt him down. Jiang Yi was contemplating whether to continue expanding his forces or focus on developing military strength. What do you think about announcing nuclear expansion? Jiang Yi glanced sideways at Charles beside him. Charles was analyzing the current global situation. At the same time, he held a pen in one hand, summarizing his analysis according to Jiang Yi's instructions. I think it's feasible. The power of nuclear weapons would be sufficient to deter the Lighthouse Nation and Yisili from acting rashly. Charles believed this was a viable approach. And it's straightforward and forceful. Implementation wouldn't be too difficult. Nuclear weapons are the backbone. With enough mushroom clouds, even enemies will show you respect wherever you go. For example, the Big Goose has a famous nuke called Big Ivan. Many world leaders tremble at the mere mention of its name. Why? It's said that when the US first deployed this series of nuclear bombs, a single detonation sent shockwaves across the globe. Big Ivan was originally designed with a yield of 100 megatons of TNT. Later, considering the severe widespread nuclear contamination and diplomatic disputes the explosion would cause, its power was reluctantly reduced to 50 million tons of TNT. Even so, Big Ivan remains the most powerful nuclear weapon ever detonated in human history. To put it in perspective, Big Ivan's power equaled 4,000 little girls detonating simultaneously. The shockwave generated by the instantaneous explosion extended over 700 kilometers. Neighboring countries like the Soviet Union felt distinct tremors. The heat released during the explosion caused significant thermal radiation and burns to people exposed to the air 170 kilometers away. Wooden houses within 55 kilometers of the blast center were completely destroyed, and all structures within the test area were obliterated. Rumors even circulated that this explosion even altered the Earth's crust, shifting the entire Eurasian tectonic plate 9 millimeters southward. Not to mention other effects. The effects of the electromagnetic pulse. It is said that within 2,000 kilometers of the initial blast, all radar systems, electronic equipment, radios, and the like were severely damaged. Even the radar and electronic equipment installed by the Lighthouse Nation in Alaska were rendered inoperable by the blast. Weapons of this caliber. It could truly be called a universal equalizer. Who wouldn't be afraid? The Lighthouse Nation is formidable, but how many Big Ivans can it withstand? Let me put it this way. If any of the Western nations acting as the lighthouse nation's lackeys possessed even a single Big Ivan, the beacon nation wouldn't dare act so brazenly. Take the pot-bottomed nation as an example. A single Big Ivan would be enough to transform the toilet bowl nation's attitude toward the lighthouse nation from groveling submission to sitting at the same negotiating table as equals. This is the status and influence of nuclear weapons in today's world. Chapter 173, Matching the Combat Power of a Million-Man Army. However, Your Majesty, whether we expand our nuclear arsenal or not is irrelevant, for we have already proven to the world that Yemen possesses nuclear weapons. Charles began to analyze the situation from another perspective. The greatest utility of nuclear weapons lies not in their launch, but in their deterror. The greatest utility of nuclear weapons lies not in their launch, but in their threat. Clearly, the deterrent effect has already been achieved. Following the United Nations General Assembly, no nation would doubt whether the Kingdom of Yemen possessed nuclear weapons. And thus, no nation will dare to make rash moves against the Kingdom of Yemen. While further nuclear expansion could strengthen Yemen's power, it is unnecessary. At this stage, the situation is nowhere near the point of nuclear war. Storing and maintaining excess nuclear warheads poses significant challenges. This explains why, despite being a nuclear power, keeps its nuclear arsenal within a controlled quantity rather than pursuing reckless expansion. It's far too costly. There's simply no need to waste money on this. Jiang Yi thought it over carefully and realized Charles had a point. Last time he checked in, the system rewarded him with 3 nuclear warheads at once. Subsequently, he received the corresponding launchers from the rewards. Now, Yemen still had 2 left. It's worth noting that the nuclear warhead used to bomb the Shabara Island base in Foot Basin Nation had the smallest yield. The remaining 2 possess significantly greater yields. One reached 120 kilotons of TNT. The other reached 300 kilotons. Combined, their yields exceeded 40 times that of the bomb dropped on Ishihara Island. More than enough. Arrange for the expansion of the military. Continue the expansion. Nuclear expansion was temporarily denied. As long as the specific number of nuclear weapons isn't disclosed to the outside world. Whether Jiang Yi possesses 2 or countless nuclear warheads, the effect remains the same. Deterrence is all that matters. Therefore, Jiang Yi considered expanding further into the military sphere. The territory of Yemen was not small. Yet the current total military strength was only around 300,000, far from sufficient. When will he establish a million-strong army? That would be a truly magnificent sight. This wasn't merely about pursuing quantity. The Yemen kingdom's current strength already ranks among the top tier. It can now contend with Zhengdong's elder brother, Yi Lang, for the top position. And how many troops does Yi Lang command? Its active duty forces total approximately 6.05 million personnel. This includes approximately 3.05 million government troops, 250,000 ground forces, 20,000 naval personnel, and 350,000 Air Force personnel. Beyond these, there is also the Revolutionary Guard. This force numbers approximately 300,000 personnel. As for reserve forces, the army alone has 350,000 reservists. These figures represent only those immediately deployable to the battlefield, excluding numerous paramilitary units. If included, the mobilized civilian militia of hundreds of thousands, plus another force of about 200,000. In short, in the event of actual warfare, the nation of Ilan could easily muster a million-strong army. By comparison, the Kingdom of Yemen couldn't muster even a third of that. Therefore, Jiang Yi issued another conscription order, planning to expand gradually, first reaching 500,000 troops. The recent fervor surrounding the Kingdom of Yemen had transformed Yemen into a star nation overnight. Every move it made was closely watched. Major media outlets soon reported on the conscription drive. Fashin News reports indicate the Kingdom of Yemen has recently conducted large-scale conscription. What are the underlying intentions? Is it brewing for a major war? Million News, what lies behind the Kingdom of Yemen's military expansion? Will this massive troop buildup threaten global peace or become a destabilizing factor in the Zhengdong region? Global headlines, storm clouds gather. Yemen's military expansion may conceal hidden details you're unaware of. Daily Morning News, war looms as tensions escalate in the Zhengdong region. Today's atmosphere in Yisili is tense. Could these events be connected? You don't really need to read these news reports. Most media outlets inject their own agendas. Take Malian Press, for instance. They outright label the Yemen kingdom as a destabilizing factor in Zhengdong. Jiang Yi just wants to curse. The Yemen kingdom never committed genocide in Gasha like Yisili did. So why is it an unstable factor? But when he thought about the financial backers behind these media outlets, Jiang Yi felt a sense of resignation. Arguing with them was a waste of time. The major media outlets' publicity campaign actually gave the Kingdom of Yemen a free advertising campaign. Oh my god, this is fantastic. I've always wanted to join the Kingdom of Yemen, and now I finally have the chance. Yeah, our country, Baguette Nation, has no backbone whatsoever. I'm utterly disappointed in our nation. I'm enlisting in the Yemen kingdom to make a small contribution to the people of Gashan. I suggest the king of Yemen send troops to liberate Gaza. I agree. Yisili is way too much. Doing this would be ridding the world of a menace. Where do I sign up? I was just trying to stir up some trouble. Who knows? The exposure from media outlets like Malian Press and Fashin Press has actually made the recruitment ads even more popular. On Jiang Yi's side, the number of people signing up for military service has clearly increased significantly compared to before. In just one afternoon, over 120,000 applications poured in, all vying to join the Yamen Kingdom's military. Wow. Jiang Yi just wanted to say one thing. Thank you. As for this military service requirement, nothing special. Just one thing. Agreeing to enlist means voluntarily renouncing your original nationality and becoming a citizen of the Kingdom of Yamen. Jiang Yi has no interest in training soldiers from other countries. What if they return to their own countries after training and end up fighting against him? That would be a complete farce. With a small population, there's no need to worry. But with a large enough base, such incidents are bound to occur. We must prevent them before they happen. 3 days. Approximately 120,000 enlisted. Jiang Yi spent several thousand prestige points to upgrade the training camp. Then he sent these troops in batches. Estimated completion within 2 months. He would gain an additional 150,000 elite soldiers under his command. Unlike soldiers systematically trained by other nations, the training camp was enhanced by the system. The soldiers trained here possess significantly higher average quality than those trained by other nations. Jiang Yi made a rough estimate. Even with the same 500,000 troops, even when facing the so-called strongest military power in the world, the Lighthouse Nation, his side still held the greater advantage. Jiang Yi calculated it this way. On average, each soldier possessed combat proficiency 15 times that of the enemy. Therefore, the combat strength of a 500,000 strong army would be at least equal to 70 or 75,000 of theirs. No way around it. With the system's boost, they were simply unstoppable. Not to mention, Jiang Yi could equip every single one of these 500,000 soldiers with high-tech combat gear, individual exoskeleton armor, advanced thermal weapons, drones, various individual combat gear, and so on. When you break it down, the combat effectiveness of a 500,000 strong army should easily match that of nations like Zhengdong, which don't prioritize military quality. It should easily match their million-strong forces and still have reserves. Of course, this is merely an ideal scenario. Jiang Yi currently only has a few hundred sets of individual exoskeleton armor at his disposal. Full deployment is impossible. However, other individual soldier equipment could soon be fully deployed to 500,000 troops. Because of this, Jiang Yi has his own production facility. Chapter 174, the development of a nanoscale lithography machine. Speaking of which, Jiang Yi recalled that the individual exoskeleton armor was also factory produced. The production process, however, involved significantly higher technological complexity. For instance, the materials used to craft the exoskeleton armor are special alloys. This necessitates the construction of additional steel processing plants. The various technologies involved, battlefield scanning, auto-aiming, thermal imaging, data analysis, require the establishment of a chip processing center, various data processing centers. Building the entire industrial chain is a massive undertaking. After much hesitation, gritting his teeth, Jiang Yi decided to invest in the construction. After all, the company wasn't short on funds at the moment, with various income streams already quite stable. Like Alzheimer's disease drugs. It's currently selling like hotcakes worldwide. Military hardware, oil, natural gas, plus other exported minerals, each deal brings in substantial revenue. Not to mention, the satellite navigation system independently developed by the Kingdom of Yamen is about to be launched. For Yamen, this represents yet another revenue stream. Build special alloy processing center? Build. Should we build a chip or D facility? Confirmed. Should we build data processing warehouses and data processing centers? Confirmed. Jiang Yi constructed all the required factories in one go. Then he applied a slight acceleration. What would normally take 3.5 months to complete was reduced to just 9 days. In other words, in 9 days' time, the Kingdom of Yamen would possess the capability to independently produce individual exoskeleton armor. No further prestige points would be required for future purchases. This construction project cost $1.2 billion. With an export price of $2 million per unit. This means exporting around 50 units would fully recoup the investment, excluding subsequent operational costs. Since materials like silicon, gallium arsenide, indium gallium arsenide, copper, and aluminum are domestically produced in the Kingdom of Yamen, eliminating the need for imports. Only a few items need importing, such as dopants like phosphorus, boron, and arsenic, photoresist, chemical reagents, and packaging materials. Therefore, the overall cost is not high. For instance, excluding expenses for specialized alloys used in RD and chip manufacturing materials, the profit per unit can be consistently maintained at $1.8 million. Equivalent to, after 50 units, each additional sale generates $1.8 million in net income for the Kingdom of Yamen. As for export destinations, Jiang Yi had already made up his mind. There are no restrictions on countries globally, only on quantities. For example, a country could only purchase a maximum of X units per year. This ensures the exoskeleton suits won't become commonplace. It's worth noting that these individual exoskeleton suits were lethal machines on the battlefield, especially in terrain warfare and positional combat. Therefore, Jiang Yi must maintain control over them. Features like remote one-click shutdown. This ensures that after other nations purchase them, they won't turn the exoskeleton armor against their own country. Therefore, further modifications were necessary. This wasn't particularly difficult. With a wave of his hand, 3,000 reputation points exchanged a top-tier research team at the prestige store. In the past, Zhang Yi would never have parted with it. But now, with over 200,000 reputation points, 3,000 was nothing. Besides, a top-tier research team. They could develop other things down the line. A surefire win-win deal. Who knows? They might even develop some cutting-edge technology. Of course, that's all for later. Zhang Yi entrusted the improvement work to them. That's the perk of having money, I suppose. Zhang Yi chuckled. Reputation points? Think of them as money. It seems the essence of humanity is consumption. Because consumption brings pleasure. Especially when you have enough balance to spend without pinching pennies. No wonder everyone wants to be rich. Exchange the research team. A group of white-bearded old men in lab coats appeared before Zhang Yi's eyes. There were over 20 of them. They weren't all from the same ethnic group. The team included African Americans, Caucasians, and Asians. Zhang Yi selected an Asian man to serve as the chief research representative. There was no other choice. Data indicated that Asians held an intellectual advantage over other ethnic groups. This wasn't Zhang Yi speaking off the cuff, but rather data from foreign research. In 1997, Richard Lin began researching racial IQ differences, collecting and analyzing IQ test results from 130 countries. In his 2006 book, The Race Quotient and Evolutionary Analysis, he ranked the IQ differences among ethnic groups in various regions, concluding that Europeans have an average IQ of 100. Sub-Saharan Africans had an average IQ of 67. The average IQ of jungle dwellers in the Nanfei Desert Plateau and the Bigo people in the Congo rainforest region is 54. Eastern Asians possess a relatively high average IQ, reaching 105. Back to the main topic. Zhang Yi assigned them their first task. Modify the exoskeleton armor. Install a program that can shut down these single-soldier exoskeleton suits with a single button press. And the program must be hidden. One that other nations couldn't detect. Shi Changrui, the chief scientist appointed by Zhang Yi, replied, "Your Majesty, we will accomplish this mission." "Alright, let's begin. By the way, you stay behind. I need to discuss something with you." After the other scientists departed, Zhang Yi crossed his legs, tapping his fingers rhythmically on the desk. What cutting-edge technologies do you think the Kingdom of Yamen still needs to develop? This was a question that had been troubling Zhang Yi for quite some time. Too advanced. We can't develop it yet. We lack the necessary permissions and prestige points. As for low-end industries, with so many factories planned for the future in Yamen Kingdom, light industry won't just be plentiful, it'll reach saturation point. Zhang Yi hoped the other party would offer some advice. "I believe, if feasible, we could attempt developing a 1-nanometer lithography machine for you." 1 nanometer? Zhang Yi's pupils contracted. A lithography machine. The pinnacle of cutting-edge technology. A critical necessity for global technological advancement. To advance lithography technology, multiple countries worldwide invest tens of billions annually. Currently, the most advanced lithography machine in mass commercial production is the Extreme Ultraviolet EUV lithography system from Holland. It enables chip manufacturing at 3 nanometer and below process nodes. ASML is also developing the Hyper-N EUV lithography machine, slated for release around 2030, which will advance the process to 0.2 nanometers. If the Kingdom of Yamen could truly develop 1 nanometer lithography technology at this stage, to develop 1 nanometer lithography technology, and achieve this entirely through independent R&D, then this academic achievement would undoubtedly lead the world by decades. It would astonish every nation. It would bring terrifying returns. Alright, that's settled. Let me know if you need anything else. Zhang Yi decided to start with the lithography machine. Currently, the Kingdom of Yamen could develop some basic chips, but their precision falls far short of the nanometer level. The day a 1 nanometer lithography machine is successfully developed will mark the moment of comprehensive advancement in Ye's technological capabilities. Chapter 175, Developing Naval Power. To retaliate against the Yamen Kingdom's support for the Gashan region. The following evening, Yisili launched another massive bombing raid on Gasha. This assault reduced the southern refugee camp in Gasha to complete ruins, claiming dozens of lives and injuring hundreds. Among the casualties were women and children. Countless Gazans who had lost loved ones were overcome with grief. Yet they were powerless. They could only weep. The entire Gaza Strip was shrouded in a heavy atmosphere of sorrow. Yet the brutality of the Israeli regime did not end there. At 4:52 a.m. that same night, Israeli bombing resumed. This time, Hamas fighters detected the Israeli warplanes the moment they crossed Gaza's airspace. Oh no! It seems these scumbags are targeting the supply depots this time. Supplies were scarce in the Gaza Strip. For easier management and public access, supplies were stored in a temporary warehouse 6 kilometers north of Gaza's original city center. This warehouse was hastily converted from an abandoned factory. Both the supplies voluntarily provided by the Kingdom of Yamen and Gaza's existing reserves were stored there. Thanks to those food supplies, the people of Gasha remain undernourished, they are not starving to death. Now, these demons intend to snatch away Gashan's last chance for survival. Are the Yisili really intent on exterminating us? How despicable. A Hamas fighter beside Hand spoke bitterly. Hand patted his shoulder, urging him to control his agitated emotions. It seems we must take action against Yisrael as well. Truthfully, if Yisili hadn't pressed them to this point, they had planned to rest and regroup for a while. while maneuvering against Yisrael. Armed with weapons supplied by the Yeoman Kingdom, they held no fear of Yisrael. But the enemy's pressure was too intense. Han decided to